actually just getting settled a little bit. Let's go there. So, I'm, if you haven't realized by now, I run a fuzz company called Fuzzsimp Effects, specializing in drive pedals, specifically fuzz. And we're here at my house. This is my day job now. I don't work a normal 9-to-5 job at all. This is what I do full time, is make pedals. And we are in process trying to get a bunch of orders out today. Had just this wave of orders, and mid to late April, there was just a massive amount of people interested in what I was doing. And so today, I figured I'd jump on YouTube, because I've streamed on all the other platforms, and on Facebook, Instagram, etc. Even uploaded a little bit to TikTok the other day, which I think is a garbage app, but it is what it is. So we're here, and we're hanging out, and going to be working on builds this morning, so you can see a little look into my life and what I do. And yeah, this is it. This is what I do every day. So I hope you're having a good morning. I was responding to some emails today. Figured I'd just put a plug in. You know, we dropped 2 new models this last weekend, the Fuzzsimp and the Black Box 3, which is kind of based on our monocle. So I figured I would put a plug in for those. And if you have any questions, or you just want to hang out, I'm all about it. And yeah, it'll be fun. So hope everyone's doing good, and we can get a good little dialogue going this morning. Maybe if you have any questions about pedal building or pedals themselves, or what it's like, because it actually is kind of an interesting thing that I do now. And I was just realizing last night that I literally like pedals so much I turned it into my job, which is a trip for me. But we're here, we're having a good time, and I'm excited. I'm excited for the future, for everything that this could bring, you know, as we bring in some people to help more than they already do, and, you know, just get turnaround times better, because it has been a challenge to keep turnarounds reasonable. And, you know, people are just emailing me this morning. I'm like, I'm doing my best. You know, I'm still a little behind, but we're working on it, and, you know, trying to knock out closer to 10 or 15 a day. It's challenging, but we'll get there, and everyone will get some awesome pedals and be really happy. So I'm excited. I'm excited for what this future will bring. But yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm just here soldering what's going to become the product that I call the Bonfire, which is actually really similar to a product that I put out early on called the Fuzzsimp 2. Just the art is so much cooler. So we're working on those, and got to get those out today, and a few other builds, and as many shirts as I can humanly possibly build needs to get out the door today. You know, it's been a challenge, I'm not gonna lie. Just feeling overwhelmed with getting a little behind, and it's good though. It's good to challenge yourself and take on new adventures. I think that's kind of the exciting thing about, you know, the world we live in today, is you can basically turn anything into a business if you really want to. Here, I gotta hold you for a second. We are pulling out some ribbon cables. Set you back down. So I'm just mobile streaming here, obviously. I've still been considering doing like a Twitch stream Here, let's see if I can see the comments. Yeah. Hey, thanks so much. I just realized that I didn't have the chat window up. So now we got the chat window. Now I can see what you guys are doing. So it'll like stream up and I can see what you guys are saying. Sorry, I haven't live streamed on YouTube in forever. But yeah, it's been an interesting transition, right? Because I really did want to be kind of like a YouTube influencer, and maybe like more like I was thinking best case I could be like a part-time demo guy. But realistically, what I do now is so much more interesting, and it's sustainable financially, so long as sales keep up. I mean, it's definitely challenging. You know, there's days where I'll have 0 sales, and there's days where I'll have a whole bunch of sales, and you never know what kind of day it's going to be. But if you weren't aware, every Fuzzsimp FX pedal is hand-built here in my kitchen. You know, we got set up, and this is what we do now. But yeah, got some working on the parts aren't all here yet, but I'm going to be working on a boost pedal that I think will do well, and excited for that. And I think it'll be good, and I'll be able to combo it up in pedals. Hopefully come up with some really cool art concepts that people enjoy. Because really, there's so many pedals out there. Like, anybody can make a pedal that sounds pretty good, right? Like, you can put together a circuit and you can make a pedal that sounds good. So what it really comes down to is like the brand and the look is what people are really paying for. It's like, yes, you're going to get a quality, good sounding pedal, but you know, there's cheap budget pedals that sound pretty good, for being honest. They aren't always the most original or interesting, but it's definitely a thing. So, but I figured I'd check in on the actual YouTube channel, since I haven't done a live stream on here in forever, and I kind of enjoy engaging with people. So right now what we're doing is soldering a set of jacks on. So I have a little jig here that's holding them in place. Maybe I'll change that angle here in a second so you can kind of see a little better what I'm doing. But got to make sure the solders are good and clean on the jacks, because otherwise it won't hold up. But yeah, I just got a text from one of my designer guys. I might have to check in with him later. So we're playing around with some new art concepts I'm pretty excited about. I have a pedal that's been out for a little bit called the Pyromancer, and while I love that art, I want to get away from using game art images, just so that we can, you know, we're not doing anything that's infringing on anybody else's intellectual property or art. You know, it's one thing to do it kind of for friends and at a small scale, but, you know, as you're running an actual business, it's not really ideal to use copyrighted, you know. Intellectual property is kind of a funny territory legally, because like in pedals you can't copyright analog circuits. Did you know that? It's extremely difficult to copyright analog circuits, because they have so much in common with other designs. It's mostly down to the name and artwork is what's kind of trademarked. So it's kind of a weird thing. But you see, we just did some jacks. This is the leads that go to the positive and ground for the 9-volt power. there's one thing. But yeah, if you have any questions about the product line, about what it's like to build pedals full time, I'll say it's actually really challenging. Not just learning how to build pedals. Because like I said, pretty much anybody can learn how to build a pedal if they do enough research. The hardest part of this whole thing is learning how to manage finances and time. And here, let me see if I can pop that chat up again. Yeah, it says it's there. Okay. But it's learning how to run a business. That's the biggest challenge, right? Because you can learn to build pedals and it's not exceptionally difficult and the parts aren't terribly expensive. But learning to run a business is quite complicated if it's something you haven't done before, especially if it's all on you. Like, I have to be a designer, an artist, a marketer. You know, there's a lot of hats you gotta wear if you're gonna do it all yourself, and it can get really overwhelming. It's like the building part is only a small fraction of what my day-to-day actually is, right? Because I'll be here at the bench and assembling, but then I gotta ship stuff. I gotta go get parts. I gotta order parts. I gotta make sure my inventory of everything I need is intact. And hey, Alec, how's it going? We're building bonfires today, which is a one-knob fuzz. Thanks for checking in. Alec is a customer and will be receiving a pedal from us very shortly, which is really exciting. I think you'll be my second Italian order to head out. But oh, by the way, so yesterday I got some really good news. So I've had a couple Australian orders, but the first one actually landed and the pedal was good and in working order and the person got it. You know, I live about 6,000 or 7,000 miles away from Australia, so the fact that I put a pedal in a box and it made it all the way over across the world and it worked and the person was really happy with it is just a testament to the world that we live in today and how international we are as a society. You know, someone can see your post on Facebook, decide to buy something, and in about a week they get it. It's insane. Super cool. So I don't know if that trips anybody else out, but it definitely trips me out that that's something that is a part of our world now. It's like we're all so connected, even though we live a long ways away. We're all just hanging out in our houses, jamming in our gear. Yep, just soldering more jacks. So I use what they call a lumber jack, which is really compact but really high quality. I've seen what other builders use, and these cost about double what some of the alternatives do. But man, they just feel and work so much better. I would be hard pressed to change to something else. I mean, eventually I may, if there's an even higher quality jack option. But for what I do, I like to use a quality jack. I want my product to just be quality all the way throughout, you know. I want it to look and feel like it's going to hold up for a really long time. I don't want there to be any doubt that the product is subpar or whatever. But everyone can do whatever they want. But I've had really good luck with these particular jacks, even though they are a little more expensive. I think it's worth the extra cost for my stuff, because I keep my price point pretty affordable. You know, there'll come a time when, yeah, you know, like one of my kind of inspirations lately is, his name is Tony Peppers with one P, and he makes pedals in New Zealand, and he's actually a phenomenal builder, and I've known about him for a while, but he's not even full-time pedals, and he puts out a lot. He has a really good day job. He was talking about it a little bit on Facebook, but he's based out of New Zealand, and he puts out a lot of pedals. Like, he puts out more than I do. And his designs are really clean, and he's out of New Zealand. Like, that's a long ways from pretty much anywhere. Like, if he was just restricted to New Zealand market, that's only so many people, right? But it's cool talking to other builders. I talked to Chris Jupiter of Jupiter Effects, who is based out of Germany, a bit. We don't talk like every day, but from time to time we'll touch base, and he sells about 3,500 pedals a year and makes amps as well. So getting to talk to him sometimes is really interesting. You know, it's running a business is very challenging. That's all I have to say about that. There's a lot of stuff you can't be. The thing that happened with me is I made this pedal called the Shrew, and I just wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared for the onslaught of orders and what it would take to actually get all those out. I mean, I move as quick as I can, and I try and knock all these out to the best of my ability. And we have gotten a lot of pedals out, but the response has just been insane. But people are liking it. I got another good report yesterday from the Shrew, and but yep, it's a really hands-on process with a lot of little steps. Building a pedal is. It was like, I think what I was just telling people, it's when I got into building just for building for myself initially, it was like I would tell people it's easier than you would think, but harder than it looks. In that it's definitely possible to learn how to do a good solder joint and figure out how all the parts work and source them and buy them and, you know, put together a working pedal with definitely some head scratching and cursing at things that aren't working how you want. But the problem is it's kind of addicting. Like, if you get into building like DIY building, where you order your own parts and circuit boards and put stuff together, or maybe you work on Vero board, they call it. You just put together circuits for fun. All that stuff is super cool. But yeah, I want to roll out more original art. So I had a post. I posted in a guitar pedal builder subreddit last night, and at first everyone was like, "Oh yeah, you know," because it basically was all the mistakes I've made since going full time. The biggest one was overestimating my own abilities and misquoting my lead times, which I think is a disaster of a mistake. I know that in the past I've seen like a for sale listing, and it's like, if I can't get it right then, I don't want it. So it does kind of limit your customer base if you can't ship out product right away. But at the same time, everything I do is what they call made to order. So I have all the parts sitting here. Best case, everything's here all the time. But I keep a revolving door of supply of parts, and you know, as an order comes in, I double check that I have everything I need, and you know, you start building. You're working on your current builds as you do that. But yep. Ooh, it's insane. Add captions. Huh. But I gave up on the YouTube grind in terms of like trying to be a powerhouse creator. I definitely would like to do some more like FAQ tutorial stuff about building, because I do know a little bit about it now. I mean, it's literally what I do for my job. We put together kind of like a parts list of what are some like must-haves, because the hand tools involved are actually all pretty simple. Other than I wouldn't recommend how I hand drill my enclosures. I don't think some people. I would be concerned for the safety of others were they to try and do it how I do it. If you're not super mechanically inclined and used to working with like dangerous hand tools that'll take your finger off if you're not careful, I probably wouldn't recommend hand drilling your own enclosures. It's totally doable. It's just there's a little bit to it. But everything else, like you can, there's a company called Pedal PCB that's really popular that has like basically clone boards of pretty much anything you can think of that's out there pedal wise, even some pretty complex stuff. It's like they even have some support from Tata where a lot of people get their parts. Hey, it's Greg the Gear Addict. What's up, man? Are you working right now or just checking in real quick? I'm sure there's a little bit of lag in the response time, as we're hanging out. 7 viewers is a lot more than I expected for a morning. So, we're going through building pedals this morning. I just put... Oh, cool. I was wondering... We'll talk offline. I need to check in with you, buddy. I haven't really talked to you in a little bit. I'm curious how things are going with your own business. Because that's the challenging part, man. It's like I've said it and I'll say it again. Woo! Anybody can do something, but to learn how to run a business, especially a business that's starting to get busy and successful, is a lot more challenging than you would think. But, yep. So we're working on busting out some bonfires and shoots. And they're coming together pretty quick. Oh yeah, trying. I'm gonna start. Oh yeah. Well, the thing is like I had a week where I was just feeling rough about everything. I was really just struggling to get stuff out and just feeling overwhelmed. But then last night, I kind of had a revelation. And it was like, dude, I enjoy pedals so much, I turned it into a job that I do for a living. And it's a good living. Because at first, when I got into this, it was more about the money, if we're being honest. Because it was like, I just didn't want to have to slog away at a day job that I wasn't super resonating with. Not to be down on what I used to do, but I had kind of been, I was working for the family business and I'd kind of reached my potential there and my heart just wasn't in it anymore. It was a job and it was a good job that was active and kept me busy, but it wasn't something that really captivated me, intellectually and really captured my interest. So it was time to move on, especially once, so many orders comes in. So I got to where I was losing money working a day job. That's a really cool place to be, but it's also scary now. It's like I had to pay some bills today, and it was like, oof. This was a lot more fun when I had a regular paycheck. And it was like, and you're not worried like, oh man, like, are people going to order pedals today? Because, like, I had this wave, and I got used to making, a ton of sales, and then all of a sudden that dries up, and you're like, what do I do? So it can be really nerve-wracking, You can have a 0 sale day, or you can sell 12 pedals, and you don't know which kind of day it's going to be. You can do everything you can. You can do, put out some demo videos and try and plug it on forums. Yeah. All about the pedals. But I'm excited on my new designs. I'm trying to brainstorm what I want to do. Someone brought up a good point. It was basically that I've been using a couple of my products that are pretty popular use other people's art. And the most obvious example of that is the Shroot pedal. And I thought I was pretty careful about how I went about doing it. But apparently, when I was on Reddit, there was people definitely concerned about... Oh, yeah. Well, thank you. But yeah, trying to just wrap my head around the whole thing. I mean, obviously I had some ramp up speed. I challenged myself to really get a lot of product out in the early days of the company. I did this deal where I would sell you 2 of my sticker series pedals. I would hustle people to buy, basically give me $100 to, sell them 2 pedals. And they were good pedals, because I really wanted to get myself used to building that kind of scale, building and shipping about 20 pedals a week. Because realistically, you can't go full-time, pay taxes, pay a mortgage, pay for services, and stock up on parts without selling about 100 pedals a month at roughly $100. The numbers don't work out unless you can produce 100 pedals a month, which is a lot of pedals. It's like getting sales is not tremendously difficult like it can be. There's definitely certain seasons. Like, there's certain days of the week where I have to really push it to get sales. Like, surprisingly, Fridays... No, that's not true. Fridays I can get sales sometimes, but like Wednesdays tend to be pretty dead sales-wise. Tuesdays are good. Tuesday is a good sales day. But there's a little bit to it. And you see trends, and how the economy is doing affects what you're doing, and this is kind of a luxury product industry. Actually, we got quite a bit done in just this 30-minute little block of time. So I have 4 bonfire harnesses ready to put in pedals. So I may jump off stream, because the drilling process, I really have to focus. And it's kind of awkward to show on camera. Oh, that's right. Thank you. So if you like that one, I have a green version that I'm going to do my boost in. I'm pretty convinced. I'm still debating what exactly I'm going to do with this new case art. I basically got my printer working on knocking out a couple new things. And I'm excited. We're going to have a lot of cool stuff coming out. Like I said, I want to do stuff that's like Dark Souls inspired, but isn't a blatant use of game art. But I don't know. I'll leave some cool options on the table for now, just because I want people to be able to enjoy the products. My thing is, like, since I'm running 7 days a week, my sense of time is really skewed. Yeah. Let's do that. Yeah, I'll check back in. Thanks for checking in, Greg. Yeah, exactly. I don't I don't think I'm in any real danger at the moment. So a cease and desist essentially just just means, hey, you can't do that anymore. As as far as my understanding of it, you know, I don't. I'm not out to rip anybody off, right? I just want to provide pedals that people like, and I'm not into stealing other people's original art ideas at all. But the Shroot I felt like was a pretty safe play overall. It's a misspelling of his name. It's fan art. Even Battlestar Galactica is spelled wrong. Um, I don't know. I feel like overall I'm pretty safe there. But I don't know. The Dark Souls game art definitely is more concerning in my mind because there's a lot more copyright involved there. But I love Dark Souls. You know, I'm a huge fan. It's the only game series I really enjoy. But like I said, I'm not trying to be malicious and claim, somebody else's art is not mine. But I know people like enjoying it. I don't think it's like brand dilution or anything. But we'll just have to see how it all plays out. You know, I haven't been contacted by anybody's legal team or anyone's been too angry outside of the pedal builders on Reddit. I have a couple artists actually. So that's the thing. Is like the things that people are telling me right this second are almost going to be non-issues soon. The problem is it's really hard to get this is the thing that nobody wants to hear. It's really hard to get sales on truly original art, right? It's like and to be honest, there's so little that's really original in the pedal world. I'm sure some of you have realized like pretty much every pedal that's out there is usually like variations on a theme. Like if it's a boost or overdrive or a big muff or a fuzz face or a tone bender, like there's so little that's original. Like there's only so many ways you can do fuzz well, in particular, and most of them were discovered really early on. But I put my spin on it. I put it in a cool box. I charge a low price in my mind, and try to get people excited about what I'm doing, and getting excited about pedals. Because I think the biggest thing is I want people to be excited about small builders. I want people to take more risks, you know, investing in a small builder that, is maybe just kind of getting their feet under them like me. Like, obviously, I'm putting out good products and I do everything I can to make sure that everybody's needs are accommodated, but at the end of the day, I'm still just one dude. So we're ready. Let's just pace up a shoot real quick. Oh, I'll have to get up and grab it. So here's a shroot case. Hopefully the fan white noise isn't too terribly bad. I talk pretty loud, especially when I have my headphones on. But yeah, we're gonna take the shroot and go through the whole process real quick. So this is the power jack. That's the first step. Is you got to put this in first and lock the nut down because otherwise it'll get in the way. So I hired an employee. We drilled all these and he did a pretty good job. But there's this hole. Has to be exactly the right size or it doesn't work. But he went out and bought a drill press and is working out of his garage doing all my drilling for me now, which is super cool. So we got that nut in there. about to feed the whole harness in there. So we get our LED lens and the LED. Fun fact, I use a really cool LED for all my pedals. They call it bicolor LED. So what that means is that depending on which way you orient it, it can be red or green. And they also aren't quite as bright as some other LEDs that are out there, like the super brights or whatever. I know some people have complained in the past about companies like Earthquaker or other companies that they put super bright LEDs in. Not about that life. I like people to be not blinded when they're using my pedal. It's got this like little socket that holds the LED in place. But yeah, so we just fed the harness in. Most of the kind of the core is there. And then we're gonna put the foot switch nut and everything on. Also, shout out, if you've been interested in a shroot, I'm only gonna leave it open until I get like 2 more orders, because I'm promising quick turnaround on those. Is B-stock shroots with a different knob. Those are going to only be available on a limited basis because I don't want to get too overwhelmed with having to do quick turnaround on those. Like, even as it is, it's going to be challenging getting those out on time, but it's totally fine. Basically, my big thing is it's rough when you're kind of stuck in a day job that just is kind of paying the bills, and it's just enough that you don't want to quit, but you're still just kind of stuck, and you're not super happy, and you're getting kind of bummed out. Like, I'm not about that life. If I can help it, I'll never have a day job again. So even if that means there's a week where I have to eat ramen, or I'm sweating it trying to pay the rent or something, I don't care. I'll do it if it means that I don't have to. If I'm doing what I love still, you know what I mean? It's like I'll make the sacrifices it takes to get ahead. But I'm pretty confident things will keep going. We've come a long way in a short while, and it shows no real signs of slowing. I'm trying to get. So what happened with the shroot is it was a cool pedal in that, like, people would look at it and instantly they were like, oh, I have to have that. I want to, introduce that same feeling in people again somehow. And it's challenging. Like, there's a lot of names and graphics ideas and themes that are already taken. It is hot right now. I mean, the pedal movie just came out. It's a great time to be a pedal company. When I first started, people were like, you should have started 5-10 years ago. I was like, no way, man. This is... If there's any time to ever do it, this is it. But, I don't know. I don't know what I would do if I had to do something else. But yeah, it was basically a complete shoot. What I'm doing right now is waiting for the iron to heat back up. We'll feed the chip that goes in the shroot. This is what's called an LM386. They actually, those like Bluetooth, powered speakers, like little powered speakers. This is what they use in those. It's actually capable of it's like a 1 watt amplifier or 2 watt amplifier. And depending on how it's set up, obviously. But in this circuit, it's what makes it have like an amp-like feel. And I used to not like this chip. It's the same chip they use in a pedal called the Acapulco Gold, which is just a big one-knob pedal from Earthquaker devices. And that's not all that's in here. Like, obviously, there's another piece to the puzzle that makes it do what it does. But using that amplifier chip rather than a regular op-amp chip is what gives it its distinctive sound. Just a little fun fact behind the scenes. But in the past, I found the use of that chip kind of polarizing because I wasn't sure I actually liked it. This was my game changer. If you ever want to get yourself a good tool, get these extra long needle nose pliers. For working on stuff for your guitars, it's pretty awesome. Especially because I have pretty like wide fingers. Like, you know, it's like I need a more precise tool than just grabbing everything. Ironically, I basically have like a, if you're ever curious what I listen to, like in my day-to-day life, I listen to very little rock and metal, especially when I'm working. I like kind of modern trap pop, like, and kind of what Machine Gun Kelly does, like that kind of music. Like, I know it's probably the polar opposite of what you would think, but it's a certain energy level. Like, it's upbeat, but it's not too upbeat and not too distracting. Like, it's just kind of these rolling beats that keep the mood going. I don't know. It's like, what do you guys work out and hang out to? That's kind of what I was wondering. I look like a jazz guy. So you like jazz? No, but Rudy is. You know, me and I'd always talk about it. Me and Rudy go way back. He's doing so well, man. I know he was just collabing with Dines. I told him that they need to play jazz together. I just check in with him from time to time now because he's super busy and I'm super busy. But we were just a couple of kind of gent nerd kids. I'm talking about Rudy AU, if that wasn't clear. Hey, look at that. It's a finished strip pedal. I'll have to final test it, make sure it's working. There's one down. I'd like to build 10 more today. And then we got all these, actually that's not ready yet. All these, this is a bonfire harness, which is this case. Oh, it's probably showing it in reverse. Oh, and upside down. But, so, spoiler, I'm actually releasing I'm redoing this, because bonfire with the weed, because it's not like, a bong on it. That was fun for 420, but I'm redoing that pedal as the Fuzzfire, but I'm contemplating doing something pretty different with it. Maybe what I'll do is put a boost, make it a 2-channel, so it'll have like a 1-knob fuzz with a mod switch and my new boost circuit side by side. Charge $200. No, I wouldn't charge that much, but like 160, maybe 150, maybe 150, because the build isn't incredibly complicated. But if people dug it, that'd be cool. All right. Well, I hope you guys all enjoy your afternoon and the rest of your workday. Hopefully you get something accomplished. And I'm going to keep grinding over here, and we'll catch you later. So thanks for hanging out.